Hello everybody, this is Leo. Thank you for watching the video, I appreciate it. I decided to do a video on Fallout 76, and the reason being that this game's getting a lot of bad reviews, a lot of criticism, a lot of hate, and I think that the reason it's getting all of these bad things is because people don't understand what this game is about. Now, if you are an MMORPG player, let's say you've played EverQuest or World of Warcraft or Elder Scrolls Online or Final Fantasy XIV, any of these, I think that you will enjoy this game because it's different. It doesn't play exactly the same as your standard MMORPG. It doesn't have the theme park elements. It's not. It's not. I don't know. It's not easy. It's not in the same sense that an MMORPG is easy. Um, it's um, softcore survival. I mean, you don't have to worry every second you're about to starve to death or die or anything, but you do have to keep an eye on your hunger and thirst levels. Um, Unlike mainstream MMORPGs, it's not easy in that sense. Now, also another thing to keep in mind is this is not a first-person shooter. This is not Rust. If you don't know what Rust is, go on YouTube, Google Rust, and you'll see what kind of toxic meatheads, no offense to the toxic meatheads out there, but what kind of toxic meatheads play Rust. It's not the Division. It's not a run and gun. It has PvP, player versus player elements, but you're never forced into PvP. If somebody comes up and they want to fight you, you can just not engage with them. You can just walk away, which I kind of like. Now, another thing that I really like about this game is that it's a post-apocalyptic, and I'm going to call it an MMO, even though technically it's not massive, because on any given server you're not going to have more than 25 or 30 people. I don't know what the exact number is. Last time I read about it, they hadn't finalized it, which was a month or more ago. And I don't really care because I find that the number of people per server is good. It's acceptable. I can get to all the content I want to get to. I don't have to worry about being crowded out by too many other people being there. And the storytelling in this game is awesome. Base building, player housing, but in this game more properly it's called base building, is outstanding. It's great. It's one of the things I really like. Crafting is in depth. Crafting is awesome. If you like crafting, then this game is going to be right up your alley. Now, I think this game is going to appeal more to people who enjoy MMORPGs rather than people who enjoy first-person shooters or single-player RPGs, because this game puts a lot of the burden on you to actually be a player and not just a spectator, not just somebody along for the ride. You have to actually play this game. And that's one of the things that I really like about it. Now, that being said, it does have its problems. One of the things is I'm going to call it clunky because to me it does seem kind of clunky, the control scheme. Oh, here we go. Now we're into the game. Now, what's happening now, and I've got the sound turned way down because I don't want it to be overbearing and distracting. But what's basically happened is that there's been a nuclear war 25 years later. It's Reclamation Day, which is you go out and you reclaim America and rebuild it, and it's all patriotic and jingoistic. But that's as far as it goes. It's time to leave, and you've had a party, and now you wake up and you get to design your character. Now, character customization is a little bit overly complicated in my opinion. Okay, if you look at the bottom, you see that if I hit A or D, I can change to different faces. Right? I hit D and it goes over face 15, face 1, 15 total faces, face 2, face 3, face 4, so on and so forth. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit X, if you see here on the bottom. X is for sex. Okay, that just means you get to choose a gender. And it's cisgendered. I know that's going to trigger some people, but it's male or female, and if you want to identify as something else, I think you can. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and change to male, and I'm going to change through the faces and find something I like. Now see, this is one I kind of like. It doesn't look like me, but I kind of like it. And I'm just going to pick something that's kind of throwaway, because this is just a throwaway character. If I do any more videos, I'll do them with my existing character. And you can make multiple characters, but I don't really know why you'd want to. Alright, so, and then when you go into face, which is you hit F for face, and you can rest over this, like say the eyes. Alright, now if you look at the bottom, the choices have changed now. Color is one of my choices, so I can hit C for color, and I can come over here and, oh, okay, I didn't hold it exactly on the eyes, so this is the face. So I'm going to choose a tanned face. Hit E to accept that. And I'm going to try the eyes again, just because that kind of aggravated me that I couldn't get them. C for the eyes. Now, there we go. Brown Bloodshot. Anybody who knows me will know that that is my actual eye color most of the time. Anyway, this guy's good enough, so we're going to hit escape to go back, and we're going to hit enter for done. See down on the bottom. Oh, wait a minute, I'm going to select the body because I don't know if he's fat. Yes, he's fat. Look at this. Alright, now here's another thing that the interface is a little bit wonky. You can drag this little square around anywhere inside this triangle that you want, but as soon as you move outside the triangle, it loses contact with it, and it doesn't regain it until you go back in. So I'm going to give this guy right kind of in the middle as much as I can. And I don't even know why I care, because, alright, we hit E to accept, because this is a throwaway character, and we're going to hit enter for done. Now we're going to name our character, and I'm going to name him, one of my go-to MMORPG game names is Gangle. Hit enter to accept it. Now you get to have a this is your photo for your Vault 76 ID. That's the vault, the fallout shelter that you ran to when the bombs fell. You're in Vault 76, which is in Appalachia, more specifically in West Virginia, bordering on the Maryland, Washington, D.C. border. So here's what I want to do is I'm going to show you some of the wonkiness of this. Okay, space. You look on the bottom. It says space. Take a snapshot. Toggle menu. Reset. Tab for exit. Okay. Now if you look on the right side, kind of toward the bottom, there's the menu. Now field of view. All right. Across the top, see where it says Z, and then on the other side it says C. If you hit Z and C, you can cycle through these things, right? I'm not really worried about cycling through those. Now, right below that, now that I'm on camera mode, I guess you'd call it, it shows field of view. And you see that that field of view slider is in the middle. Now, if you want to change that, you don't hit Z and C, because that moves your top level menu. You use your arrow keys. So we can kind of move that in a little bit, and then we use the mouse to kind of adjust where we want our camera to be. So I've got a pretty nice little portrait here. And these things just take experimenting. The aggravating thing to me was differentiating between using Z and C to navigate that top level menu, and then having to switch over to the arrow keys to navigate the sub menus. So you use up and down on the arrows, and you use left and right on the arrows to change these. So we're going to hit space, and we're going to save that. All right. Now we're going to hit tab to exit, and we woke up the day after the party. Okay, this is our room in the fallout shelter, and you're going to want to kind of move around here a little bit. See, it starts you out in first person mode. This is kind of disorienting for some people. This is nauseating for some people. But you want to kind of move around a little bit so you can get an idea of how it's going to react. Now here's a terminal, and we hit E to use the terminal, and it takes us in, and what it does is it says Happy Reclamation Day. Terminals can hold holotapes. Press R to eject a holotape or to load one. Holotapes are the primary way, well, one of the primary ways that the game tells its story, and it's got a hell of a story to tell. It's really good. But anyway, we want to do Happy Reclamation Day. So what you get now is the overseer of the vault, and that sounds a little sinister. You have an overseer with all the connotations that that brings in, but here an overseer is just the person who's in charge of the vault. So today's the day, everyone, Reclamation Day, preparing for this moment for 25 years. America is waiting for us. Hoorah, jingoism, patriotism, whatever you want to do. So we're going to go back, and we're invited. What are we invited to? Well, there's a party. This was last night's party. So we get to hear and see all that. Now we get to play this holotape. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it because I've got it turned down pretty good. Oh, this is the Nuka Tapper. This is a game that you get, Nuka Tapper. This is a simple Twitch-based little video game that you can play. Anyway, we're not worried about that. Yes, we're going to quit the game. We're going to hit enter because that's highlighted. We're going to hit tab to eject. Now, you hit R if you want to keep that holotape, which will let you play this game anytime you want on your Pip-Boy, and we'll get to Pip-Boy in a second. Anyway, you get to play this on your Pip-Boy anytime you want. Now, I'm not going to take the holotape, but guess what? You get it anyway. The game does not care. So we're going to walk around here a little bit. And the very first thing, I mean, and I just like looking around before I exit the vault because, and I've done this a couple times now, so I know there's nothing really here for me to get. But if you want to like activate the shower, you hit E and look, the water comes out. And over here, the sink, you can activate it and the water comes out. E is your activate button, and it kind of uses this to teach you all of that. So this is in the vault. Now, what we want to do is we want to get our Pip-Boy. Now, the Pip-Boy is your interface. This is your cell phone. Not really. This is your tricorder. This is your personal assistant. So it says press tab to open your Pip-Boy. So we hit tab, and you see here you've got several different high-level menus. And again, you do these, and this is what I don't like about it. This is W and S. Takes you back and forth across the top level menus, and then once you get to the menu that you want, say for example stats, then you use the arrow keys to go back and forth through that. So let me kind of explain these to you. Status. Okay, status shows you what your weapon power is, what your armor is, what level you are, what your name is, how many action points you have. Action points is really good. That is something that you need to learn about. We'll learn about it as we go. How many hit points you have, so on and so forth. You go over to effects, it shows you if you've got any kind of an illness or radiation sickness or buffs from food and drink or other items like bobbleheads and magazines give you different buffs. And then special. Special is where the bread and butter of this game. Well, it's not the bread and butter, but it's a major aspect, a major component of this game. So you have anybody who's played MMORPGs is going to be familiar with the concept here. You put points in things, and see, this is one thing I really like as opposed to most MMORPGs. You get your character is actually extremely customizable. You can set your strength, your perception, endurance, and they will give you no two characters are going to be the same unless you try to make them the same. And each one of these is going to lead on to different abilities that you can assign to your character. Now, item. Have several categories under item. I have no weapons right now, so nothing's there. And then apparel, I have my Vault 76 jumpsuit on. Aid, this is where like your buffs are going to come in, your food, your drink, things like that. Miscellaneous, well, yeah. Holo, this is your holotapes. And as you go through and do the quests and things, you'll get holotapes to advance the quest. Everybody's dead. All these people all these quests you're going to be doing, most of them, are going to be quests left over from when there were actually people alive. So you do want to Watch out for the holotapes that you get. The ones that are pertinent, germane, essential to a quest will have a diamond out here next to them. Notes, this is where all your crafting recipes are going to wind up, and a few other things, but mainly this is your crafting recipes. And junk. Junk is another one of the bread and butter kind of things that's going on here. You collect junk, you break junk down at crafting tables, except for cooking. Cooking doesn't let you do it, but all the other crafting tables do. And this is where you get your raw materials to make things. Mods are things that you either make or come across in the world that allow you to modify a weapon or a piece of armor. And of course, ammo is ammo for your weapons. Data, this is your quest. You can also get to this by hitting J, and I'll kind of go over that in a minute. So Reclamation Day has finally arrived, and your goal here, as it says here, is to leave Vault 76. You also have side quests, you have daily quests, and you have events that activate when you get close to where the event happens. Radio, I'm not really going to go into this too much because the main radio station has a lot of copyrighted music on it, so that if I were to play this and to give it, and to post this on YouTube, then I would get copyright banned and all my audio would go away and blah blah blah. So I'm not going to do that. But the radio station, Appalachia Radio, I think is the name of the main one, and then there's several others that you can play with and see what you like, is excellent. I love the music. I really do love the music. So we're going to hit tab to get back out of our pip. Now, let's kind of go over this. If you hit I, it takes you to the item part, the inventory, I for inventory, right? And I keep mine mainly on aid because that's what I find I need to access most quickly. So we hit tab to get back out of the Pip-Boy. Now we hit J. J is our journal, and that takes us to our quest section. And then O, I don't know why this is, but O is radio. All right, and we hit tab to get out of that. And K is stats. You know, it's kind of like in MMORPGs where K is knowledge book. Well, this is your stats. It tells you what your effects are, what your status is, you know, whether you're in good shape or not. So anyway, we've got our Pip-Boy. And hitting F brings up your favorites menu. F for favorites. Now, we're going to assign things in here later on, but for right now, just so you know that it has that. G is your emotes. MMORPG players are familiar with this concept. You get to wave, you get to say, you know, thumbs up, or what is this one? Team up. This is invite somebody to a team. Ask for help, trade, taunt, no, angry, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, we're going to get out of this. Now we're going to E. E is your action button. Just remember that. We're going to open this door. We're going to head out here into... now we have the opportunity to press V to switch between first and third person. Now me, first person is a little disorienting, so I always go to third person. Now when you're in third person, you can hold down V, move your mouse back, and it will move you back to the limit of the field of view that you have set in the options. And let me show you those real quick. We hit escape. We get to that shows us the map. Here we are at Vault 76. There's us. All these various and sundry other places out here. We can scroll in and out using the mouse wheel. But we want Z for menu. Now Z for menu gets us to the settings, game settings. Here, you know, these are just your kind of standard settings. You have to hit tab to get out of each one. I'm running at 1080p. I have a custom preset because this game can be a little difficult to get the optimum performance for your computer out. I have a low/mid-grade gaming PC. I've got my RAM overclocked, but everything else is stock because I'm running a Ryzen, and Ryzen likes fast RAM, so I've got my RAM overclocked. But I've made sure that it's capable of handling it. Anyway, field of view right here. See, I've got it set about halfway. If I wanted to be able to move further back from my character and have more of a third-person view, I would move this all the way over. But I kind of like where it's at. And then you can go through these. Again, I'm in this menu. I can't just go over here and click to get out of it. I have to hit tab, and then you go over the controls and you can see what all the buttons are. And then another thing is the audio on this game, voice chat mode. This game does not have a standard text chat. It's all voice chat, and you can now I leave this to auto because when but I'm going to turn it off now because I'm doing this commentary, and I don't want people around me to think I'm crazy talking to myself, because as long as this is on, the people around you can hear you. And you've got different modes. You can have push to talk. I'm not a fan of that. But anyway, that's basically how that goes. If you want to know more about it, you can go. There are dozens and dozens of YouTube videos going over them. This is not for that. This is to get the people that I know and my friends and other people who may be interested in this, trying to get them to play this game. So we're going to resume. Now, as you can see, this is a Fallout Shelter vault, and there's not a lot in here. You see this? This is called the Vault Boy. This guy here with the blonde hair looks like the 1950s, and that's another thing that I really like about this whole thing, is the art direction, because it's all kind of a retro 1950s post-modern kind of sorry, mouth was getting dry. I had to get a drink. Kind of a like I said, kind of a retro kind of feel. And now you see that diamond right there? That is a quest objective. And that's all the help you get. There's no exclamation points over their heads. There's no feathers. There's no books. There's no wisps that lead you to the right place. And a lot of quests, you have to be close enough, or you have to have started the quest. It doesn't just take you by the hand and lead you, I like that. Anyway, Vault Boy here is pointing over here, so we're going to walk this way. And there's another Vault Boy pointing that way. Oh, and learn to read these signs. This cafeteria is not going to have anything that I can pick up and use for my own, but other cafeterias that you run into in the world will. So we come down here, and it's like, well, where's the Vault Boy? Well, it's kind of confusing. You have to loop around, come back around this way, and oh, look, we can kick balloons. Where'd it go? There it goes. We can kick balloons and things like that. It has a pretty good physics engine, and here's a Mr. Handy, which is a mass-produced robot that you're going to come across a lot of these, and some of them are kind of messed up. Their programming's gotten all sideways. They've been reprogrammed by evil factions, and you have to fight them and kill them. All right, and Vault Boy is telling us we got to go this way, so we're going to go this way. Now, what you have to watch for here is you're going to come across these stations. All right, now let's talk to this guy here, and you can kind of see if the sound were turned up, you would be able to just hear it with the voice. But basically what he's saying is, hey, step up here to where the red foots are and take all this stuff. Rad-X. Rad-X protects you from radiation poisoning to a certain degree. It's not perfect. Purified water. Everything in this game will give you radiation sickness except for purified water. Drinks prevent dehydration, which, as I was talking about before, that's the soft core survivalism. Open your Pip-Boy and go to item raid or aid. So I open my Pip-Boy by hitting tab. Go to the item menu. You can't see it. It's kind of hidden behind that. And you see I have purified water and I have Rad-X. Rad-X gives you 200 radiation resistance for 10 minutes, but it increases your thirst. This will resupply 25% of your water. Right here's your thirst, the lower right hand side. There's your hunger. Here's your hit points. Now, you can be absolutely full on food and water, but if your hit points are low, using food and water will increase your hit points. Unfortunately, everything besides purified water and some other few items will also give you radiation poisoning, and you'll see how that works in a minute. Alright, so we can't go any other way, so we've got to go around this way, and oh look, there's the diamond popped up. You see what I mean about A lot of times your quest helpers don't pop up until you get within a certain distance. We step on the red footsteps. We're going to take some RadAway. Now what RadAway does is if you've got radiation poisoning or some level of radiation sickness, it heals a lot of that. And a stim pack, this is if you're hurt, if your hit points have taken, if you're low on hit points, or you need to replenish your hit points, or if you have an injury. Stim packs heal injuries, and an injury is a different thing from having a low or taking a hit on your hit points. An injury is like you've got a leg or an arm or something that is actually injured, and it reduces your mobility, your combat effectiveness, so on and so forth. Now, another thing here, you do want to talk to these guys like Higginbottom. The things he tells you is pretty good, but what we're going to pick up here is building supplies. And you'll see up here that what we got in our building supplies, I think it's going to show us. Is it not going to show us? Okay, items with components can be used for crafting. Okay, so there it is. We got excessive adhesive. Adhesive is you're going to have a problem with that. Raw cloth, you use that. It's crafting. If you played MMORPGs, you know about crafting. All right, so now Vault Boy is pointing us this way, and there's Vault Girl too. So we head up here. We've got another station here, and we're going to pick up the party hat. I'm not going to wear the party hat, but that'll be under your apparel tab under items. Party hat, and you can see I've got a square here. My Vault 76 jumpsuit is equipped. I can take it off, and I'm suddenly standing there in my underwear, and that's how it works. There's my party hat. I can put it on. There's the party hat, but I'm just gonna keep that so I can scrap it later. So okay, now we go through here, and this is a major part of the game is your CAMP, your compact automatic mobile something or other. Anyway, this is what lets you build your base. So we're going to take that. Build a camp after you leave the vault. Open your Pip-Boy and press Z once you're in the wilderness, and that lets you put your camp down, and then you can build in a certain radius around it. It's not a huge radius, but it's big enough. It's more than you need. And so let's get out of here, or out of that section. And over here we've got, some we can activate the projector, and then we can watch the slideshow, and it'll tell us about everything that's happened. Anyway, I hit E, it was already activated, so I deactivate it. Now here we go, and you can sit there and watch that all you want. And then here, okay, a lot of people skip this or don't know about it. Perk cards. Okay, I'm going to take those perk cards. Now what that did, you just saw my level go up there. Now I'm level 2. Now when you get here, you get to choose whether to put a point in strength, perception, endurance, blah, 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 all the way down to luck. Now this is just a throwaway character, so I'm not going to worry about it too much, but I'm going to go into strength, so I click on strength. Now once you pick a special stat, which is SPECIAL, strength, perception, endurance, blah, blah, blah. It's not hard to figure out. I can get the gladiator perk card. My one-handed melee weapons will do 10 plus 10% damage. You see that one right there? That one means that, all right, now this is a strength perk. Down here in the lower left-hand corner, it has an S for strength, and it takes 1 strength to be able to equip this card. So I'm going to hit space to accept. And it kind of gives you a little explanation here. Gladiator, blah, blah, blah. 1 star. Now you can stack up to 3 of these cards. All right, and you have to be really careful on these perks because you can screw your character up beyond all repair before you even notice. But if you have 1, you get plus 10%. If you have 2 of these cards and you stack them, which means you have to have 2 points in strength, or 3 means you have to have 3 points in strength. This number will change in order to use them. You can do plus 20% damage. And this is something you really kind of have to be careful of, because you can use 1 point of strength to get plus 10%, but then you use 2 points of strength, you only get another 5. And then 3 points of strength to equip a higher level of this card, you only get another 5%. So the first level is usually the most efficient. These afterwards, you just kind of want to be really careful that you're not wasting them. Because you can get like Gladiator 2, I think is the name of it, or Expert Gladiator. Yeah, Expert Gladiator. 1 point in Expert Gladiator will give you a whole nother 10%, where one more point put in just regular Gladiator only gets you 15, an extra 5. So anyway, you see how it goes. I'm going to hit space to accept it, and woo, it lights up. And now I have to click here, which is going to put it up here, and now it's actually under my strength. So I have one more point than I need, but I had to spend the point in order to get the card. The only way you're going to get points or cards is to spend them. Now I'm going to go to perception here because, but anyway, you can see I don't have any perception cards. So I'm going to go to endurance. Wait a minute now. There we go. Endurance, I don't have any cards, or it's not going to let me assign any. I do have cards. It's just not going to let me assign them because I'm still inside the vault. Now I've leveled up. I'm level 2. So okay, we've done that. We've got everything out of here that we want to get. And we're going to go over here to the sliding door. We're going to open it. We're going to run through the sliding door and see Vault Boy there saying, hey, go this way. So we're going to open this sliding door. And now we are coming to the entrance of the vault. We've been in here 25 years. Everybody else has left. I had a hangover, so I was sleeping it off, which you're going to have a hangover and you're sleeping it off too. So you're going to be the last one out. And once the vault door rolls to the side, we're going to go out into Appalachia proper. Now, on my computer, these loading screens, now the first one, when you first come into the game, it's going to take 30 seconds. On my computer, it takes 30 to 40 seconds. These, where you're just going, when you're already in the game and you're just zoning from one instance to another, okay, so now we have found our radio signals. So we can hit O. I don't know why it's O, but it is. And we found all these signals. And we finished a quest. It's automatically assigning us a different quest. The next quest, find the Overseer. Okay. Yay, Pip-Boy. Okay. Now, if you go down there, okay, I'll just show you. You want to be careful coming down here. Let's get back out into third person mode. There we go. Now right here is a dead body. This dead body has stuff on it that you are going to want to get. It has 8 rounds of 38 caliber ammunition. It has a pipe pistol. Now back in my day we called these zip guns. They're just improvised weapons. And then pre-war money, it's not worth anything, but you can scrap it at a crafting station like we were talking about before, and it'll give you cloth. So we're going to go ahead and take that, which is E to take. Now if I wanted to, let's say, put something back on this corpse, you just do it this way. You hit R for where you at, for transfer, and then you can put anything in there. Now if I continue going this way, there are some little level 1 robots down there whose programming is all messed up, and they're going to want to try to kill me, but I don't want to do that yet. WASD are your controls. Q and E are not strafe. They don't do that. You use your mouse. Wherever you point your mouse is where your camera is going to show or point. So you see I'm moving my camera around, but this guy's not moving left and right, because you have to kind of give him a little nudge with the W key or the S key to get him to turn in that direction. Now in order to equip a weapon, you're going to hit G or F to get your favorites up. And you can see under equal I've got 5 stim packs. I picked those up in the vault before. But under number 1, I'm going to hit C to change one from not being anything to being a pipe pistol, being the pipe pistol that I just picked up. So I hit tab to get back out of this. Now if I hit the number 1, I equip that pipe pistol, but you don't really see it until you hit like Q, which is to target, or Anyway, hitting R also will cause it to reload. R for reload. So equip your weapon by hitting the number that corresponds to whatever you set. Anyway, this guy down here is my quest objective. First contact, track down the overseer. You can see over in the upper right hand corner. So I come down here and I interact with him by hitting E, and he's talking to me. You can't really hear him. So I wait for him to finish his little spiel. Now I'm going to go down here because I know from playing this there's another dead body down here that has a melee weapon on it. Alright, so I'm going to... Oh, there's orders from Maria Chavez. Now see, that's going to give you some hints about where to go and what to do in the game. So I'm going to hit E to read that. And it says the dead person was carrying a message to somebody named Paul, and they were telling Paul, I need you to make the monthly scouting run to Vault 76. Those doors have to open sometime. Don't take risks. Observe for a few days and come back. Maria. And that's Maria Chavez, and she's going to be one of the central characters in this first quest. I don't want to take that. You can hit space to take it, but it just, I don't know, it just clutters up your inventory. I'm going to hit tab to exit. And then I'm going to pick up this machete, and I'm going to pick up that pre-war money. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going back to my favorites. I'm changing one by hitting C, and I'm changing that to the machete. I want my machete to be number 1, and I want my gun to be number 2, because the first, and you just do that however it suits you. Me, I like I like having the melee weapon on 1, so I hit 1, and there, boom, there's my machete. So now what I'm going to do, and there's the instructions, you can press mouse 2 to block, right, and mouse 1 attacks. And weapons take damage, and they can take some pretty major damage. And if you want to do like a power attack that drains some of your action points, lower right hand corner you see your action points. So I hit Alt, and boom, I do a power attack, but it takes a lot of my action points. Now I'm going to go back to my gun, and it's well loaded. So over there it says 8 rounds, and I don't have any in reserve, so it's 8 out of 0, 0, 0. And I'm going to come down here, and I know how to fight these guys because I've been through this. So it's going to take a couple shots to kill him because I'm low level. Now, one of the things that when you're playing in third-person mode like I am, if you're above what you're trying to target, it can sometimes not let you have the target. But so you have to move down on a level that's even. Oh, I'm being shot. So I don't want the propaganda fire. Those are trash, junk. Anyway, this guy here is getting on my nerves. So I'm gonna. You can't jump. Okay, what I'm doing, and I've played this game, and I got to remember most people haven't, is hitting Q, and you see how the physics works. He's just going to roll down this hill until he comes to a stop. So I get down here on a level with him, go down to steel scrap. Okay, and then I've got this guy here who's shooting at me. So I'm going to shoot at him. Alright, I've used up all my AP. Oh, and I got to explain to you what I just did. When you hit Q, a thing called VATS comes up. Alright, and VATS is like a auto target. But it takes AP points to use that auto target. So you will run out of them pretty often. Now you want to come around here. There's 38 rounds. Oops. So, and I like melee weapons because they're not as hard. Okay, your mouse wheel will open up your favorites. I forgot to tell you that. Anyway, let me get back to this VATS thing because I know that for me it is absolutely essential because I have a tremor disorder and people who know me know that. So it's kind of hard for me to actually physically target the mobs. So I used VATS, which is Q, and see, I didn't even realize that guy was there until and he's not targeting me right now. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pick up some of this stuff. You can get a pool cue off of this guy and a combat knife. And you just have to decide what weapons you want to use. Pool cue is a viable weapon at low levels. So, and it's just everything. Anyway, there he is. So we're going to run up on him using VATS. and you can see it said 95%, right? Oh, I don't want fusion cells. That's for if you have power armor, and I don't think you can even get into power armor until you level 30. So anyway, we're going to run up on this guy, and you can see how it changed from 0 to 95% to 0. If you're using a gun, like, let me switch to my gun here. Alright, now see, my VAT says I have a 26% chance of hitting him from here. So if I run up closer, my chance to hit him goes up. And as long as VATS is active, you cannot change your weapon. You have to hit Q again to get out of your weapon, and then you can change to, like for me, I'm going to use my melee weapon, and I can just run up on this guy and hit him with my machete. I don't have to use VATS, and you don't have to use VATS. I do. It's a very useful tool for me, but anyway. So, alright, we're going to do one more thing, and then we're going to end this video. And the one thing that I want to do is run down here. Oh, look, tibia. And you can use bone fragments. You can scrap those and get bone, whatever it's called. But anyway, what I want to do now, look down here on the bottom. You see my little compass down there? I'm heading south. The little diamond there shows me where my quest objective, what direction it's in. So like I said, it's not handholdy theme park like WoW or EverQuest or ESO. But it does give you an indication, so you're not totally lost. But you see right next to where the quest marker is there's this little icon of a house. Now, I know from playing the game that down here in that where it's showing that house is the Moonshiner's Cabin. And Moonshiner's Cabin is going to be one of the first places that you can pick up something useful, that you can do some scrapping, which I wanted to show. But there's going to be some ticks down here, so we got to be ready to fight the ticks. So I'm tapping Q every so often just to see if it's going to pick them up. Oh, rhododendron, you don't want to harvest that. It's not good for anything except to make fertilizer. You know, and if you need fertilizer, then great, go ahead and get it. But, oh, there's a tick, so 95% with VATS with my machete. I'm going to take the tick blood and the tick blood sack because you can make healing poultices and stuff. Oh no, there's a whole bunch of them in here. Oh, this one's got a crown, so he's like much stronger than the average bear. I got 5 caps. Caps is currency. They're bottle caps. So the more caps you have, the more stuff you can buy from the robot vendors. There are really no NPCs. Anyway, we can pick up glowing resin, and we can pick up a moonshine jug, and all this stuff here. Fancy Lads snack cakes, mason jar, large sealed. I mean, there's just all kinds of junk, and and the game calls it that. This is frickin' junk. Oh, we do want the rad eggs. So what we're going to do now that we've got that stuff is we're going to come over here, and oh look, there's a raider strengthened. There's a dang tick again. So we're going to kill the tick, take his tick blood and his tick blood sack. Now here's a cooking station. This is where you're going to sit down and do your cooking at. Thought I saw another tick. And here's one of the crafting stations. This is a weapons workbench. So we're going to hit E, or we're going to hit R to scrap because we have a bunch of junk to scrap. You look down here at the bottom, we hit space. It's going to scrap all of our junk. So we hit space to accept. But you notice it didn't scrap the combat knife because that's not junk, that's a weapon. So I'm going to, while that's highlighted, I'm going to hit space and I'm going to scrap that. I'm going to get some raw rubber and some steel scraps. There's a gas canister, which I'm going to scrap that, and I don't know why that's not considered junk because it is just pure junk. Oh, T, scrap all junk. And I knew that. It's just that I'm trying to get through a basic kind of tutorial introduction. So we're going to hit that, and we're going to scrap all that stuff. Sparty hat, it's apparel, so you have to scrap it separately, and we're not going to get anything for it. I'm just getting it out of my inventory. Pool cue, we scrap that. We're going to get some wood scraps and some molded plastic. Molded plastic is very valuable. And then what we'll do is we're going to follow the diamond, being very careful because this is a deadly environment. And you see my hit points on the lower left. they're a little low. So I'm going to hit Tab to get my Pip-Boy up. I'm going to go to Items. I'm going to go over to Aid. I'm going to eat some Fancy Lad snack cakes. And look, I picked up 1 rad of radiation. I'm going to drink some pure, but it improved my hit points. It also made my food over here on the right go up, but my water didn't. So I'm going to drink the purified water, which brings my thirst meter back up. And then, of course, these things, you can use them raw, but look, this will give you 15 rads if you use it raw. It only cures 20 hit points. So that is an option of last resort. Stim Pack gives you no rads, 40% of your hit points, and then another 20%. See, it restores health with an initial burst followed by a slower rate of healing. So it's a heal over time. MMORPG guys are familiar with that. Tick Blood also heals you, but look at how many rads it gives you. So you'd wind up using your Rad-X right away. So it's not really beneficial to use it in this case. And again, that's that's what I like about this game. It's complicated. It's complex. You can't just run around like an idiot killing things and shooting things and hoping for the best. You have to actually think about what you're going to do. Say, well, am I going to harvest these logs, which I'm going to do because wood is one of your primary crafting components. And if you run around, you'll find logs all over the place. Now, the game is not well optimized. You just saw that little hitch that I got. And my computer is, like I said, not top of the line. It's decent. But also the game is not really well optimized. And anybody who's played MMORPGs knows that the first couple, 3 weeks after a game launches, you're going to have lots of issues that need to be remedied. I've already harvested that one. And anyway, you just run around looking for logs. Also trails. This is Appalachia. You can see that it's a really beautiful game. Sorry I didn't bring that up earlier. Gameplay matters more than graphics to me, so I tend to kind of ignore graphics. And you saw that little hitch there, and there's another one. And I don't know why it's doing it. It might be just because of the... Uh-oh. What is that? You have to always be watching out for stuff because yep, there it is. Those are hover bots. And I don't know why they're here. They're probably dropping off a requisition, which you can do that. If you find these government requisition holotapes, you go to a antenna site, a communication site, you load them into the terminal there, and these guys will come along and drop you a box of stuff. And everybody on your server can run over there and loot. Everybody's got their own loot. Alright, that's one thing I do need to cover. Open world loot, like that empty paint can right there, if I take it, it's gone. But if there's something that's in a box, or on a monster, like right here, this lunch pail has ribeye steak and beer in it for me. And I take both of those things. But if you are playing with me, you would have your own set of loot in there. So it's playing with other people does not give you any real detriment. You're always, I mean, you know, for the open world, like right here, what is this, industrial cleaner? Once I take that, it's gone. It's out of the world for now. It'll respawn later. But you can't pick it up. But if it's in a box or it's part of a monster's loot, then you can pick it up. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here. I hope that it's encouraged you to come and play this game. And I'll do more videos, at least one more, because I want to show you with my level 37 character, where I have a camp and I have established myself here, so where people can kind of see what mid-levels look like. But anyway, getting out of the game, you hit escape, brings up the map. You hit Z for your menu. You hit C for social. You've got all these down here. We want to hit Z for social, or Z for the menu. Here's the menu. Everything is on it. Atomic Shop is their little cash shop. Everything else is kind of self-explanatory. And we're going to hit quit. We're going to quit to the desktop. And it brings us right back out to the desktop. And that's all there is for my initial Fallout 76. Please come play this game video, and thank you for watching it. I appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.